sonar's really firmed up there. Looks like within 50 meters of me is all these mounding ripples.
Just texted me.
But we think about 65 meters from me. Be Juliet.
She's got this under control.
So Juliet should be about 020, is that right now?
Yeah, 023 is the exact move I put in.
Here I'm facing 023.
Actually, from where you are right now, it might be
It's a bigger one
5
right there.
degrees, 005 from
Okay.
D2.
It's a lot bigger one.
Yeah, you can kind of see on high pack.
Yeah, it's basically due north of me now.
Yeah.
The current keeps pushing me over to the starboard side.
So our pilot is telling us that currents are kind of moving D2
back right there.
to the right.
It's strong.
The
It is.
Juliet
Strange.
location is just
ADCP
north of us
doesn't
now,
really show much.
and we're still headed toward it.
So it's supposed to be, ebb is at 4 p.m., max ebb, and it's supposed to be, yeah, the way it's going right now, from the northwest. That makes sense. At least we shouldn't have any surprises.
Yeah.
But max is at 4 p.m., and what time is it now?
1:14. Is it 4 p.m. local?
Guam time?
Yeah, which is 12 hours from this, right? So
Well, no.
So 1.
Wait, local Guam time?
There's a dark spot in the upper right portion of the
ship time.
ROV's sonar image.
Right now it's
So
1:14
Yeah.
p.m. ship
we're
time.
getting
Yeah,
closer
so
to it. We'll see what it is.
3
Usually
hours.
the dark spots are
those
just
tides
holes
are
in the
put in the
ground,
local
but
time,
we
not
shall
from
see
Guam,
what
yeah.
it is.
No, we did the tides.
Yeah.
We need ship time.
Yeah.
We just ignored local because ship happens to match UTC by 12 hours, so it's
Yeah.
easy to think about it.
It's a strong something.
See it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see it on.
Alright, so ship just stopped.
Remarkably featureless sedimented
I think that's whatever this
seafloor in
is.
front of us at the moment.
No, your thing's been at 37
So
meters the whole day.
Sirius is, Sirius is still 35 meters from Juliet. D2 is approximately 17 meters.
And, yeah, that agrees with that sonar target. It doesn't look. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
How long has the ship been stopped?
Maybe 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. We'll give Sirius another minute, and then.
Yeah. I can move.
Watch lead pilot.
Go ahead.
Pilot, can you give me a scale on the ROV's sonar?
Yeah, so
Radius?
that black circle you see
Yes.
is about 18 meters away.
Okay,
So it's just out of reach. We're going to move the ship once
thank
more.
you. Okay.
We'll be there momentarily. And that circle matches the Juliet target in high pack. So I
Okay.
think that's whatever we think is there, that's it.
Thank you, pilot.
Yes.
Okay, folks on shore, if you look at the sonar image, bottom
So-
right of
Like
the
a 25
third
meter move.
feed that you have,
Yeah,
there is a
let's get
dark
lined up
spot
on it.
about
So I'm faced
12 meters, I think it.
Okay.
Still off to my port
20. I'm
side.
sorry,
I
20
will
meters
turn towards you.
in front of the ROV, and some very hard returns, bright yellow, white, behind it or further
There you go.
away. And that is where we're headed.
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
go like
And
14.
that the pilot
Let's
says
do
that
1.5.
dark spot is right on
1.5,
the target
25 meters at 1.5.
location for
Yeah.
Juliet. Excuse me. Yes, that's right, Juliet.
Thank you.
So it should be coming into view, whatever this is, pretty soon. One of the feeds from shore, I can hear background conversation. Just make sure that your mics are muted.
So whatever it is, I'll come at it from the southeast so that I can face into the current for the initial part of the survey. So I guess once we know where it is, we'll move Sirius, not straight at it, but maybe a little to the east
We
so
got
I can face it.
We got a couple harder
Okay,
turns
folks,
up
I'm
there,
listening to the pilot discussing things with the navigator. There is a bit of a current pushing D2 to the right, and so he's going to maneuver a little bit to the right so that he can come at this target at best advantage with respect to the current.
So the ships move in, huh?
Yeah, you're getting close to the end
The
of your tether,
sonar
though.
Yeah.
return is very interesting. At the very top of
Come on.
the half circle that represents D2's sonar, you
Especially
see
we got something behind it,
almost a
too.
vertical
Yeah.
shadow.
Look how
So
hard that
whatever it
return
is
is
that
hit
we are
there.
approaching is stands pretty high above the seafloor. You can see something in the distance, dark, about in the middle of the screen as we approach it.
My mind says that's an airplane shape.
Your mind does.
Yep.
I hope we're building
So just
expectation
a
as Sirius
comment
moves
about
along.
what you're seeing on the sonar, just from some experience I've had in locating wrecks with submersibles, and this is Chris Kelly. You often see a shadow in front of a wreck or a piece of wreckage because oftentimes they're down in the depression in the sediment. The area is scoured around them. So actually I view the shadow in front of the target as quite a good sign.
Rock.
Right. Thank you very much, Chris.
Yep. Okay, video, come wide.
Yeah, this one's super straight.
Yeah, ship just moved another 12 meters in, so
All right,
It's time.
it's time. And it's gone from the sonar. All I really saw was a depression, like a circle.
yeah, I mean there's something slightly port.
There it is. It's right in front of you. Oh, it's-
Mm.
It's not in front of me anymore.
Just There it is.
Looks like
Oh.
something.
Yeah, I see it.
Look
Go
at
ahead.
the thing in the square bottom right before you get in there.
All the way out. Yeah, we just moved it in because they were having problems with reflections. Okay. Copy that.
Yeah, so you're pointed high back. You're directly over Juliet right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll bring it
I
up
think
and
it's
see
that rock.
if
Or, sorry,
they're on
that
board
not-
for
I
it.
think it's that shape.
Yeah.
Do we want to leave our swing arms in or come back out where they were? Might get.
I think they're good where they are.
Okay, copy that.
Okay, video, you can start zooming here.
It's a can.
It's like a crushed can. No, actually.
What is that?
Okay, folks, we are zooming in on a dark object on the seafloor.
Piece of wood, maybe.
Initially,
Yeah,
the pilot thought
piece
it
of
was
wood.
a crushed can, but doesn't look like it.
I think it's a piece of wood. Okay. Divide.
Something is right in front of you.
Yeah. That's where I'm going now. So how much left in the ship?
In what we're seeing on the
So
sonar,
it
that
looks
looks like,
like it
this
just-
object is casting a pretty big shadow. Am I looking at that right?
Yeah, it looks like.
Oh,
it
you
just
mean in the sonar?
Settled out.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good.
It does seem to
Be
be
enough to
casting
reach
quite a
and
shadow,
just
so
as
it's
necessary.
projecting up from the seafloor. We're getting there. We're moving
I
serious.
see it there.
The right-hand side of the ROV sonar, that triangular section, that's a reflection off of the right manipulator arm, so that shadow is not an object.
No, but right in front of us, right in front of the ROV, so in the center of the sonar screen from the ROV, at a distance now of about
It's
10
definitely
meters,
something.
looks like, or a little more, there is an object, and we are seeing some debris. You should be, if you're not seeing it yet, yeah, this is some debris.
So this is
Yes,
just
that's definitely wreckage.
10 meters.
Yes.
10 meters above Juliet.
it's about 10 meters from the Juliet target we had.
Do you want to move Sirius 5 meters closer?
And we are about 10 meters from the Juliet
yeah.
target that we have.
Maybe even 10.
10
yeah,
meters
do
or
10.
maybe
About
1.5?
I'm at
Yeah.
1.5. 1.3. What is that?
Shirley or Patty, this is Rich, and just for context, I believe during the pre-dive brief, you discussed the two targets. Juliet consisted of two separate items close together, possibly. And do you know which one this would be?
This would be Juliet. We landed on.
I think what he's saying is that I think there are actually two hard returns where Juliet is located. I'm going to bring up the GIS right now and refresh my memory on this.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
So apparently there's two targets here.
Okay.
It's like surprising nav at the last minute.
So once we get settled, we want to do a similar survey of this around the perimeter and get a good idea of what we're looking at.
Right. Will do.
Can we zoom into it? Can we zoom into it?
Go ahead, watch lead. Okay.
I think this particular batch of wreckage illustrates why it's so difficult to find airplanes on the seafloor, particularly that have had
Okay.
a hard
So
encounter
we want
with
to
the
kind of
surface,
look at all sides of this
because
without zooming?
you wouldn't be able to distinguish this from a rock if it was on hard substrate.
You also want to rotate
That's true, Chris.
side to
Thank
side
you. Yep.
to look off in the distance.
So I did ask the pilot to do a survey around the material we're looking at, and then we will start looking in detail with zooms. And as we do is, folks, if you can identify anything with regard to what part of an aircraft this might be, if that is identifiable, that would be great. Thank you.
So we had a view of it from the looking northwest. Now I'm looking north.
So we are coming around to 360-degree heading on the ROV right now.
Okay, now I'll move around, so we're looking to the northeast. As I go around, the currents will get more and more in my tail.
Okay, so I'm seeing two objects that are, one of which is about 30 meters across, and that's the closest object to the wreckage that we just came from. And then there's another piece that's 13 meters across, or 13 meters in size, and that's approximately 35 meters behind the first object.
Chris, can you tell me what compass direction from this object that is? You said 35 meters away.
Once you're sure you stopped, you could hop another 5 closer, maybe.
I can eyeball it pretty closely. It's probably pretty close to heading of 45 degrees or so, maybe 40 degrees.
5 meters.
If we can assume that this particular pile that we're seeing here is the closest one,
okay,
which would make sense since then the other one would be behind it at around a heading of 40 to 45 degrees.
Okay, thank you. And that's from the direction at which we approached it, presumably.
That's correct.
Okay, we were just at about 90 degrees.
Yeah, now we're looking at it. It's going to be hard to look at it from the north because the current will be blowing us towards it, but
okay, thank you, pilot. Yep, understood. So we're just circling around this object. We were just looking at it with the heading of the ROV at about 90 degrees, and now we're coming around to the looking at it from a heading of about almost.
We're almost there.
130.
135. There we go.
Okay,
so that's from
at
the
23,
north.
30,
Now I'm going to
23.
come back around, and I'll just quickly go back around, and then we'll start up the other side.
Okay, thank you, pilot.
The tether doesn't.
So what we're going to do is we're going to come back around and then go up the other side to complete the view because the tether is not letting the ROV go any further in this direction.
So what we're going to do is we're going to come back around and then go up the other side to complete the view because
actually, the tether looks good. You feeling happy about that, co-pilot?
Oh, yeah, I'm okay.
Well, I'm hearing myself through someone's open microphone on shore. I wonder if folks could make sure that they mute their connection to the ship so that we don't get confusing information from shore. Thank you.
Patty, this is Frank.
Yes.
We would like to, of course, take a close look at this cylindrical feature, particularly if we could. We want to get the lasers on it to get an idea of the diameter. We'd like to take a look down from the top to see if it's hollow.
Okay.
We suspect we might know what it is.
Okay. Can do.
Go ahead. Yes. Okay. I think it is hollow, but we will do that. I'll just finish this last quarter survey, come back so I'm facing northwest into the current, and then look down on it.
Hi,
Thank
this
you,
is
pilot.
Dave Conlon. I'm wondering if
lasers
maybe
on?
it's the
Yeah, lasers on.
pressurized
Yeah.
crew
Are they
access
not on?
tube that went over the
I don't know,
bomb
I
bay
think
of
they
the
were.
B-29.
Check.
I don't like that button.
Yeah, they're on.
Have
Okay,
a look
thank
at
you.
the chat room vent log, Dave.
Yep.
All right.
The pilot is just going to complete the turn around to the north
can-
side of the
Pilot, you
of
can see it's hollow
the
on
debris
mine.
here,
Yeah.
and then he will look right down. He thinks also that it is hollow.
It does look like that, Dave. That's what we were thinking.
Right.
Okay, here's our view from the northeast looking down.
If that was the case, it would
I see
be
lots of
connected
wire
to the bulkhead behind
or cables.
either the forward crew compartment or the aft crew compartment, so there would be bulkhead behind it
Thank you, video.
or underneath
It looks like
it
they're all
at
on the
this point.
seafloor, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that actually is something going off.
Yeah, maybe if we see from the top down, we'll be able to tell, but that's a good call, Dave.
All right. So that was the whole perimeter, basically.
Thank you.
If we
Okay,
could
we've
just
done the
lift
full
up.
perimeter. Now we will take a look down the throat. We're heading right now is 301, 302, coming around slightly.
Maybe use the ROV to light the view for Sirius image.
And Dave, this is Rich. Maybe you or perhaps Jeremy can speak to that. There looks like there's what looks like a compartment
Can
cover
push
or
on
some kind of
Sirius's
Yeah, the
camera.
square.
Maybe, or a hatch cover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cover
yep.
near that
Pushing
tube.
partially there.
Watch
Right now
it,
it's
Maybe
12 o'clock.
something
watch the
similar
pilot,
to
if
what
you
we
could
did
just
on one of your Fort
zoom on that
Meade sites.
square object.
Lake
I'm
Meade.
headed to look down it, and then I'll do that.
Okay. So pilot is first going to look down in the center of the cylinder and then do some zooms on objects around it, including the rectangular or square potential hatch cover.
Can we tilt Sirius down just a little bit?
Yeah, there's a good view in Sirius. That
Yeah,
video's lining up.
the bulkhead from the
Yeah, roger that, pilot.
the forward crew compartment had a window in it so that they could actually check and see if all the bombs had been released on
Okay, video, want to zoom
bomb
on the
release.
center here?
So that's that hatch could actually be a window opening to look into the bomb bay.
Just a bunch of wires.
The Sirius view also shows you this as we zoom on the top of the cylinder. You can see that it is indeed hollow.
It's very thick.
Is this a potential ordnance?
The red dots you see are 10 centimeters apart. It's about 4 inches or so.
Well, actually, is this potentially some kind of ordnance, this round cylindrical object?
So a funny bit of trivia about the pressurized tunnel that went over the bomb bay. When the Boeing engineers were trying to design how wide it was going to be, their lead engineer, they
Video, do you have any more
put
zoom?
him through it, and he was quite a stout gentleman, and so they made it just wide enough for
Got a
him
lot
to
more
fit
zoom.
through.
Okay.
That was their design
Go in on this
criteria
connector.
for
It
that
looks
tunnel, if this is in fact what it is.
I see.
The object to the right that we're seeing that's black looks like it's black painted.
Full zoom.
Can we get a, yeah, like that area?
We're getting a zoom now. It should show up shortly.
Some numbers on the cables.
Are there any suggestions
Okay,
as to what these
come out
wires
partial.
may represent?
That's good.
There's a lot of wiring on these planes. Unfortunately, that's just a juncture. I don't know what that is. But the structure behind it, which is behind that round section, looks like it is painted. And Jeremy had commented before he wanted to see if there was any black paint on any structures.
Oh, so you mean to the right of the cylindrical object?
Correct. It's
Okay.
behind that cylindrical object.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, we'll take a zoom on this in just a moment.
Sort of looks like a large rock.
What are those weird colored gray things?
I don't know.
In the bottom right, there's some white things.
Yeah. Okay, video, let's zoom on this black area. Does look kind of like a rock, but
It's got a
pretty
cup coral on it.
unlikely. Yeah.
Video, could you zoom out slightly on mine? Thanks. That's good.
I'm wondering how this object showed up on the multi-beam. It's much too small to have shown up on the sonar. There must be other structure nearby that led to the multi-beam return. Is that correct?
All right, video, if you come wide.
It's quite possible.
Okay, closer to
I
everything.
have a request into Frank. If they can send me where they are right now, I could see how it matches up with the larger of the two targets on the map.
Yeah, I appreciate you zooming in. This is not painted. This may be a fuel bladder, though.
Okay,
Okay, coming
interesting.
back down.
So do you folks want to look at the rectangular object that's at the base of the cylindrical one?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, the thing that might be a hatch? Is that, yeah. All right. All right, I can get a
When we
lot
finish
closer. I
with
was
the
up
rectangular
high to look
object, we'd
down.
also like to look at what's on the top side of that darker area that looks sort of drapey, as if there's some fabric there.
Okay.
It's now at the 12 o'clock.
So just upper left past the door is the fabric they're talking about.
So at the base of the cylinder is what you're saying. Is that correct? Or is it on the other side of the cylinder now?
Yeah, the squares at the base now, it would be on the opposite side, correct?
Okay. All right.
Watch lead, this is pilot.
Go ahead, pilot.
Just looking at the wiring, the blue wire and that nice connector we zoomed in on it.
Yep.
And by no means know much about this kind of thing, but looks kind of almost modern, more modern to me than World War II. I'm not sure if they could
Interesting.
comment on that.
Okay. I will do that. Our pilot has a question. Zooming in on the wiring, since he is an engineer, he is saying it looks more modern to him. Does anyone have any thoughts about the possibility that this might be a more modern feature that we're looking at?
Okay, video. Can go in on the hatch.
This is Jeremy in Silver Spring.
I've seen a lot of wiring.
Wiring actually became very sophisticated, and you'd be very used to seeing the type of wiring in a B-29s you would see in a B-52 in the 1950s or any kind of high-performance aircraft up through the 70s and 80s. And so those quick connect couplings, all those things that we're used to today that we think are high-tech actually are being the airplanes during World War II. But a lot of times these would be fabric-covered wires, but then they're I've seen some, at least with some of the airplanes in our collection, the Smithsonian, where they have plastic covering. So that's at least my take on that. So that didn't seem out of the ordinary to me, but could be more debris, right?
Okay.
All right, thank
Okay.
you. I heard that. So they did have colored plastic wire. in World War
Okay.
II. Yeah.
Want tighter zoom on the glass looking structure?
So any thoughts
center.
on
Yeah, go for it.
what we are seeing in this zoom?
Could we zoom in on the cylindrical object at the top of that square?
We just did it.
There is, okay, just a sec. Pilot, there's a request for a zoom for cylindrical objects, which I think you're doing right now. Thank you. That's what you meant, I believe. Is that correct?
Coming back up.
It is, thank you.
Okay. Well, we'll
Yeah, we're
get...
looking at, it looks like here's the gauges from a panel.
There's a,
and that one particular hatch that David pointed out, I was thinking it might be the flight engineer's hatch would be the access. So that's in the forward fuselage right in front of the wing, right near that access through that tube to get to the rear fuselage. And so this could be a panel from the flight
Oh,
engineer.
there are numbers. Pilot, there are numbers there.
Yeah, I see that. 120, 160, 120, 160.
Yeah, we are. You're
Use more
absolutely right.
detail.
We're seeing numbers, which you'll see just a second. Gauges.
Top left has words. Straight above now.
Are these
center.
helpful for
Yeah,
identification? Mm-hmm.
I think so, because each of the panels are specific for their use, so you could probably look at each of the crew positions and see what that configuration is. So, the flight engineer station, the radar operators. There's different positions that the crew members have.
Oh, that's.
So
Does that say
you probably
northeast?
get a good layout of what that panel
I
looks like.
see
You can probably figure out
MET
what
Yeah,
that
meter,
position
probably,
is.
right?
Okay, thank you very much.
on the bottom
Would you
right of that, I
prefer
a
to
T.
see
Yes.
us?
Whoever
Want to come out and get the whole
whoever
panel
said it
video?
was the flight engineers panel, I agree. I think that's a good guess. The flight engineers panel faced backwards on the B-29 and butted right up against the pressurized access tube that went over the Bombay. So that might be. So what we're looking at, if we are correct, what we're looking at is sort of right behind the wing, and this is going to be on the co-pilot side, facing backwards, and then the pressurized access tunnel would be up and to the right of this position on the B-29.
I think we're also, sorry Dave, I don't mean to interrupt, but I think we're also seeing a folded up parachute in lines above it.
Okay. Yep. Watch lead pilot.
Go ahead.
The fabric up to the upper left
Yes, I
at
see
about
that.
11 o'clock, maybe portion of parachute, folded lines in it. So if
Okay.
you could zoom on that.
I'm just going to get in a little closer.
Yeah. Pilot's just getting the
Video
D2
come
in a little
wide.
closer to get a close look.
I'll pull Sirius out full wide so see where you're at.
Okay, you can go in there.
Partial.
After you zoom in on that area, if we can do like a top-down view, that would be great too.
Okay.
Ready for more?
Yes. Ready?
Go on to the stitching.
All right.
Watch lead pilot.
Yes, watch it.
Okay. There was a request to go up above this when we're finished with
Okay.
this zoom and the imaging of it, and then go from top to bottom.
All right, we can do that. Whenever you're done, video.
So on shore, you want to go to the top of the cylinder and then just make a vertical transect down toward the parachute or the fabric. Is that correct?
Yeah, top down so we can see the back side of the parachute fabric.
Okay.
Am I zoomed out on mine?
Nope.
Oh. Could you zoom out a little bit, please?
Watch lead pilot.
Thank you.
Go ahead, watch it.
Request was to see the back side of the parachute fabric.
Yes.
Not
I'm
sure.
getting, this is as far down as I can tilt, so we'll try zooming here. Okay,
Right.
video.
I'm not sure how you can do that, but
Might get it best
Great.
with HD2.
Thank you. okay, we're zoomed in. You should see it on shore very shortly.
I don't know if that's quite the back side, but
Yeah, I don't think so.
well, maybe when we go to a different angle, we can look at it from another direction.
Yeah, maybe if we pirouette off to the right.
All right,
Pull
we
you
can come
out.
wide. Watch lead. That's as far down as we can look. Maybe
Right.
from a different side, we can look across or something.
Right. Thank you, pilot.
Thank you. Can we go to the right of that object? It looks there's a circular object that may be an oxygen mask.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's left.
So you do want to go to the right of the parachute? Is that correct?
I'm sorry, to the left.
To the left. Okay. Watch lead pilot.
Yes,
No.
I heard to the left. Is that
Yes,
right?
to the left of
Okay.
the parachute
And slightly up from it.
and slightly up from it.
I see a circle straight above your
It's
lasers.
past the darker solid object.
Okay.
Okay.
Shore
go in
says it's
partial
past the darker
hold there.
darker object.
video. I'll start
I'm sorry.
going
What
up.
did you say it was again? You think?
It's round and circular. It could be an oxygen mask. We'd like to look.
Okay. So is it the white material to the left of the dark black?
Oh, no. Okay, now I can see. It's like a cord. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you want a closer zoom?
Can you zoom in closer? Yes, please.
Okay, video. You can
Yep.
go max.
Video, if we could go. Thank you.
Yeah. Looks
Wow.
like parachute cord.
Is it a parachute ring? That looks like a chute ring.
Then we'll work up with
Oh, I see. Yeah, I
there's
can
cam.
see it. Sure.
What's that say?
There, stop.
It's not another cage.
Right, yeah. That.
Sleeves.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Litter.
Thank you, pilot.
I
That's
see
great.
a GT, ER, and an L.
Yeah.
Is there anything
Okay,
else
wanna come out partial
here?
video? I'll just scan around.
Stop. Oh, no, it says litter. I'm sorry. That's intrusive. Never mind.
There's a button.
Keep in mind, shoreside, you guys seem to be about 6 to 7 seconds behind what we're seeing here on the ship.
There's some kind of can up there.
Do you see the paper with the grid pattern on it?
Please do not litter. Yes.
Don't leave your planes here.
Seems
Okay,
to
video.
be,
You can zoom in on that.
seems to be an excessive amount of cans at the top.
Yeah.
Max source.
Is it possible to pull back a little bit and almost look underneath the
Is that a lotto ticket or something?
square thing that we thought might be a window?
Oh, okay. We'll give it a try. There is a piece of some object with sort of a grid on it.
Pull up.
Pilot, if you go back down to the lower part of the screen, just zoom on this object. It does have, looks like it has some lettering on it. Not sure what this would be, but it also has some bars stretched across the grid that might indicate
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Looks like some
yeah.
the condition of
Asian
equipment
writing.
or something. I'm not sure what I'm looking at.
What temperatures you can use an oil at or something?
Yeah, maybe.
And then there's
That's
a,
intrusive.
yeah, so we're zoomed on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Up.
Come wide again, video.
Not sure what it was, but anyway, so could you repeat your question because I got distracted? You want to look underneath the hatch cover?
Could we
Yeah.
try to almost look underneath the square thing that we were looking at? Thinking
Okay.
It might be a window.
Okay,
Kind of trying to look underneath it.
we'll try. Watch lead pilot.
Yes, watch lead. Okay. I could come down low, but eventually there'll be a bottom. But I could try. We've just been trying not to in general. I actually don't think we have it all yet today,
Nope. You have not.
but we'll get close.
Okay, folks on shore, we're going to try to get you a look under the hatch cover that the fish is investigating.
I can tell you, Carl, we cannot see
Yeah,
all that.
that'd be perfect. Just zooming in from there.
Okay, video.
It might be
and zoom.
difficult to get down low enough to see it, but give it a
Okay.
try.
Partial.
What do you think the circular object with the broken surface is at the bottom of the screen?
Do not know. Could that be something biological?
I don't think so. I have Shirley here sitting next to me shaking her head violently.
It's not some sort of urchin shell.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a sponge. Looks like
I don't
an
think that's
urchin
something
shell.
from a B-29, but it could be intrusive.
Okay.
Well, that's as far under the hatch as we can get.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to see the other side of this hatch. The underside. Is this at all helpful?
Yeah, I thought I saw something that's not there.
Okay.
Do you want to go in a little closer?
Do you want to go a little closer here?
That might be Budweiser. Can you go max zoom video?
I think we're good. I'm good here.
Okay. Thank you, pilot. They are good on shore,
All
so
right.
Good.
You can go wide video.
what would be your next preference for a view?
We'd like to see the backside of that tubular object.
Okay. Watch lead pilot.
Yes.
Am I imagining
We'd
things,
like to
or did
look
I
at
see a
the
Budweiser?
opposite side of the circular object. So if you can get around the opposite side from where we are now, that would be great. If you have enough slack.
Want to come
Good
down
eye,
a couple
Dave.
meters?
Was there something you wanted to look at on shore?
I know he was commenting about the Budweiser can.
Ah,
No, he was commenting.
Is there anything else anybody wants to see?
I don't know if those
Okay,
white
video.
things.
Want to zoom in on the side of the circular object? Guess, yeah, just hold there. We'll see what people like.
Yes, we're heading to the other side where it looked like there might be some fabric.
All right. Patty, could you have
Go ahead.
Casey check her chat?
Okay. I'll go as far as the tether lets me this way at this partial zoom, and then we can turn back around.
There's a crushed can.
Do you want to go in on this swirled object? It looks unusual. Oh, that's also a can. Okay. All right,
Bottom
come back out.
Below lasers aren't. Looks like a cylindrical with the attachment to it.
It's all wires. Okay.
Yep, there's a connector.
Yeah. It's similar to the one from up top.
So the area we're interested in is about 3 o'clock now.
Watch lead pilot.
Go ahead, watch lead.
Okay, the area they're interested in is about 3 o'clock now.
I think I see they said fabric.
Yeah, they wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, video.
There we go. We're getting a zoom on the fabric now.
Is that Fanta?
Probably.
Max zoom. There's also a starfish at the top of it.
Looks like a fairly coarse weave.
Almost like a fire hose.
Pilot suggested looks like a fire hose.
They still look similar to the ones on here.
Right.
Guessing they didn't have long fire hoses on the planes. Though.
Wouldn't think so.
That type of coarse fabric, though. Okay, video. Come back out.
You can kind of see through it, though, right?
Is that sufficient, folks?
Semi-transparent.
Does that help identify anything?
That's very helpful. We're discussing it. We're not sure that it's part of the wreckage, or it may be intrusive. There's some objects that are about 12 o'clock now. Could we go that direction?
Okay. Watch lead pilot.
Yes. Watch lead.
Objects at 12 o'clock that they would like to look at. So I guess around the other side of the cylinder.
The other side of the other side of that cylinder.
Can you manage to get that far around?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Current streamed that tether out pretty well, so I don't think you're going to have a problem there as far as with your swing arms.
Yeah, keep an eye on everything. I won't go much further because I could come back around the other way if I have to. Okay, what type of objects am I looking for here?
Good question. All right, folks on shore, pilot would like to know what type of objects are we looking for here?
Okay, it's about 3 o'clock now. No, not from the fabric. Yeah, from the fabric, I'm sorry. But in the orientation we're at now, it's about 3 o'clock. Farther out from the main pile of wreckage.
Okay, watch lead pilot.
Yeah.
Don't know if you heard that, but further out from the main pile of wreckage, they'd like to look at some of the objects at about, right now it's about 3:30 or 3 o'clock.
All right, video. Want to go in here?
Partial.
Okay. Go in tight in the
Great
center there.
Fanta.
Can you zoom in on the thing that's about 12 o'clock?
Yep, zoom in on the
Yep,
12
we see
o'clock
that.
item.
That might be what I just zoomed in on.
Knob, perhaps. It's heading more towards, yeah, almost at the center.
Yeah. Yep, I see it. Yeah, it's right down to the bottom. It's it's
Okay.
real close to your lasers right now, Carl. There you go. Now it's up at the top.
It's a circular object with a square frame around it and something encrusting it on the top that could be a sponge.
No.
Okay, we got it.
No.
Thank you.
All
You
right.
can keep.
Yeah,
All right, want to come wide video?
I think
Get
the
around again.
pilot's a little far away from it to be able to, remain completely stable, and there's quite a current pushing him around down here. So
Yeah, we're good. You can move from that if you could go upper right from that area.
okay,
I think for that I'll actually go around the other side. So
Okay, he's
bear
set
with me.
the full extent of his tether, so he's going to go around to the other side and approach those objects from that direction.
Okay, thank you.
Current might try to blow your tether into your side there, so we'll
Okay.
watch that.
So what is the circular object?
That was my question
Or
too.
the large, the center of this mound?
Okay, we have a question from the pilot that I have been meaning to ask myself. Exactly what is the cylindrical object that's projecting up from the seafloor? What part of the aircraft would this be?
This is Jeremy at Silver Spring. There's a
Can you,
tube that
tilt
runs
down?
between the forward and
In
rear
there?
fuselages. Because one of the innovations in the B-29 is there's a pressurized fuselage. You get an airliner today, you don't have to wear an oxygen mask or wear thick warm clothing. And so by pressurizing the fuselage, you can make it much more comfortable for the crew. And so to join those two sections, because you don't need to pressurize the bomb bay, you have this long cylindrical tube. And, as David was saying, the girth of Wellwood Beale, the Boeing engineer, dictated the size of that tube. But that is just to connect the forward and the rear portions of the airplane together. So what we've been looking at is what I think
So
from
you
our
wanna go
group
partial as
discussion
I
is that
come
we're
around
kind of
here?
looking right at
Something's wrong with that swing
rear,
arm.
the
It's
end of the
vibrating a
forward
lot.
fuselage as it meets the tube. And so
I've noticed that
further study will be made about what kind of gauges those are and
laterally,
things like that. But we're
it's
kind of
like an
looking at that
eddy
area,
on the
especially
opposite
that hatch
It's just caught like
there.
a
So
vortex.
that long tube of the
Oh.
fuselage, this is right where
Yeah, I don't think there's a positioning that
the forward fuselage
it's,
in the vicinity of the
just
bomb bay
rotates
and the top wing where all that meets together. And that tube is part of that connection between the forward and rear of the airplane.
Okay, thank you very much.
Go ahead. I did, thank you. Yeah. So, and possibly this is the tail
And
from
the
the
tube
plane,
as well as
the wings we just saw.
probably 20 times longer than what we're
Ah,
seeing.
possibly.
It's a long tube that spans 2 bomb bays and wings, so we're just looking at a very small portion of it. That's what that is.
Right, thank you.
Can we look at something we just crossed over? Can we pan down and to
All
the
right.
right slightly?
Watch lead pilot. Panning down to the right is requested, something we just passed over.
Should I go to the original request first and then work my way right?
You certainly
Looks like
could.
a black sock.
Okay, folks on shore, pilot was moving toward the objects that we were headed toward to the now left of the fabric, and he's going to look at that first, and then we'll go back. Because he's on the move, it's kind of hard
Thank
to,
you.
stop and reorient the
Okay, video,
ROV.
you can go in partial.
Okay, so first, I guess we'd like to look at the object on the left and then move toward the right.
Okay. I'm not sure what specifically out here they wanted, but
Right.
maybe it's just all of it.
Given the gauges and what looks to be a window, I would say that this section of tunnel would be connected to the cockpit area and not to the tail of the aircraft. So this is the forward end of the pressurized tunnel that went over the bomb bay.
Oh, I see.
The are correct in our assumptions.
I see. Watchley pilot.
Go ahead, Watchley.
Okay, did you get that from shore? This looks like the forward end
Yes.
of the fuselage, right?
Yes. Let's see. Can you come out wide here, video? There's a little slope here, and I'm coming up.
Yep. Black Kurt.
Can we take a break to tell everybody on shore what we're doing here? Not for a while? Okay, so I've been told to wait a minute. Patty's saying we're going to look at something else first.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes. Go for it, video. Okay, you can go in on the black thing. Video, do you copy?
I did not.
We're going in on the black object.
Looks like a piece of a tire.
This actually
Looks like a tire to me.
It does look like a tire, yeah.
Looks like a tire to me.
Another can of Schlitz. Okay.
All right. Thank you, pilot.
Welcome. I did, if you come out partial video, I saw something up here that looked interesting.
Partial.
We are broadcasting live from the NOAA ship Okeanos Explorer. We are near the island of Saipan today, and we are exploring artifacts from what we believe are B-29 bombers from the World War II era that crashed as they were taking off from air bases in either Saipan. On Tinian, yep. Many of these aircraft were lost on takeoff and landing due to some mechanical problems. And these aircraft have a lot of significance to American history. None of these crashes that occurred in the Saipan Channel have ever been discovered. So this is a historic moment. We're very, very proud that we were able to discover these and bring this information to you live as we're discovering it. Through telepresence, we are able to share this dive with anyone who can log on to our website, oceanexplorer.noaa.gov, as well as many experts in maritime history and aviation history, in archaeology, who are able to provide insights and guidance as we're making these dives.
Some sort
I think one of the interesting things that we're seeing here is that tire is not from the B-29. B-29 tires are huge. That great Fanta can is not from the B-29. It was much later than the B-29. That Schlitz can is not from the same era as the B-29. It just shows how much trash is in our oceans and how much is just scooting across the bottom. And when it encounters something like the remains of a B-29 wreck, it sort of aggregates, it gets captured like a sieve in the oceans. It's very interesting, but it's also a little bit sad to see how much garbage and debris we actually have floating around on the bottom of our ocean.
Yep, even in the deepest parts of the ocean.
David.
Yep.
And it's amazing analogy to the atolls on the surface of the ocean, collecting all the stuff that's been floating around on the top. These things that stick up over the surface, so to speak, of the sandy bottom do the same.
Little plastic fork.
This is our 22nd day of continuous operations on the Okeanos Explorer. For the first 21 days, we've been diving in various parts of our national monument, the Mariana Trench National Marine Monument, and look.
Is there anything here, folks?